Director Joseph Kosinski has definitely figured out the type of movie that he likes to do and that he is really good at making. First Top Gun Maverick and now F1 and his partnership with Brad Pitt. This is definitely a film that you should consider checking out in theaters. Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a filmmaker. I just finished directing my first feature film, and I'm a movie reviewer with over 100 movie reviews. We're going to closely examine F1 the movie today, figure out why this film works so well, and the elements that come together to make this a film that is a good win for Apple. Minor spoilers ahead. There are three things that F1 does really well that set this film up for success right from the beginning. That is the accident, the underdog story, and the mentor-mentee relationship. We open the film on an accident occurring. There's the ocean, we're seeing a crash happening, and we're glued to the screen because we're not sure what's happening. We're not sure what's going on. We don't know who's been hurt. We don't know what has happened to them, and we don't know if they're okay. At the beginning of the film, we don't even know if it's Sonny, if it's someone else. In fact, we can kind of put together the pieces when we see Sonny take off his watch every time and put it next to the picture of his dad, that potentially it was his dad in the crash. And so that sets up intrigue, and we want to know what is happening and what has happened to this person. Every one of us loves a good underdog story, from Remember the Titans, Rocky, The Blind Side, Kung Fu Panda, and on and on. You can list so many movies that are about the underdog. Everyone loves a good underdog story. We want to root for the little guy, and Joseph Kosinski knows this, so he masterfully sets up F1 to give us exactly that. As soon as we're introduced to Ruben and the Apex GP team, we realize how much of an underdog they are. They haven't won a single race in 2 years. They haven't even scored a point in 2 years. And now they're down a driver. They only have their rookie. And Ruben has gotten to the point where he asks Sonny to join the Apex GP team. He's the 9th person that he has asked. And in this first race, the first race that we see Brad Pitt, Sonny in, we see just how much the team is struggling. The pit crew is making mistakes. The rookie is timid and refuses to take risks. And because of this, the team absolutely fails their first race. And so we see this team at the lowest point that it can be. So we know, so that when they hit the high highs that they do at the end of the movie, we have such an incredible sense of satisfaction watching that. And that leads me to the third reason why this film works so well. It's not just an underdog story, but it is a story of a mentor coming and training a new mentee and helping the new generation, reaching down that hand and helping someone else up. We love this kind of story. It's in so many movies that we watch, and it brings us catharsis to watch a new generation lifted up on the shoulders of the generation that came before. Sonny and Joshua are an excellent example of this relationship because of the friction that exists between the two characters. They fight. Sonny has no respect for Joshua. Joshua thinks that Sonny's ways are old-fashioned and they're not worth working on, and the two cause huge problems for each other. And in the type of environment like F1, where the two members of a team need to be working in sync with one another to help one another out, it's incredible when we start the film off and through the first half of the movie when Joshua and Sonny are at each other's throats and they're having difficulty with one another. And so it works so well when we see the two of them figure out a way past their differences and work together as a team in the final race. This film has really interested a lot of people. It's got intense action, good humor, and incredible visuals, and I think all three of those things are making people want to come back for more. That started with Joseph Kosinski in Top Gun Maverick, and it is carrying over into F1. This film has a lot of intense action, and they filmed at real F1 races, which I think lent itself to helping make this film incredible. You can't tell which shots are from the actual races and which shots they had to film to help fill in the gaps. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. The stakes are incredibly high in F1. I mean, just opening with the crash, you can see the incredible, the devastating effects that this sport can have. And so right at the beginning, we know that, there's a chance that someone might not be surviving this. This film also has some great humor. There were some great moments of levity, some moments where I really laughed during this film. And while Sonny might not be a perfect character, he is charismatic and funny, and he is kind. And I think that's one of the reasons this movie is working so well, is because you have a character that you can root for, and you really like this character. You want him to succeed, and you want the rest of the team to succeed right along there with him. And then the visuals in this film, just, you could talk about the cinematography and break down the cinematography of this movie for forever. The shots are incredible, the movements of the camera are amazing, and the CGI is flawless. And then the editing on top of that is just a thing that is hooking the audience so well for this. This film knows how to give the audience little dopamine hits with the edits over and over and over again. The editing for the film is insane. During the races, it feels like you're right in the car making these dangerous decisions with them, and you understand how exhilarating and how exciting this sport truly is. They have these shots where the drivers will turn, and the hands will obscure the camera, and when it unturns, it's the other driver, and that is just, oh my gosh, I cannot describe to you the little itch that satisfies in my brain. And I have seen a couple F1 races. They're very exciting, but this is a whole new level. They really did F1 justice with the filming in this movie. Now, it's not a perfect movie, obviously. There are very few movies that are. So what are the few things that this film struggles with? Well, I think it really boils down to two things. The first is the love story. There's a love story, a relationship between Sonny and one of the professionals on the team, Kate. And I think it's kind of forced. It works perfectly fine, but I think that the relationship in Top Gun Maverick works much better and is much more essential to the plot. The one in F1 just doesn't work quite as well. It really doesn't add that much to the movie, and I think it could have been taken out and the movie would be perfectly fine without it. And then taking that out would have shortened the movie, which is the other issue that I have with this film, is that F1 clocks in at 2 hours and 35 minutes, and I was feeling the length in theaters just a bit. It's a minor gripe, okay? There are very few movies that are paced perfectly, and I can give that criticism to 90% of movies that I watch, but I do think that if you had taken 10 to 15 minutes out of this movie and paced it up just a little bit, it would be tighter, it would be better. You are only keeping the diamonds at that point, and I think that this would have been a slightly better movie if it had been a little bit shorter. But that's enough of the bad stuff. Let me talk a little bit more about the good stuff. Like I mentioned, the editing is superb. The cinematography is superb. The acting for this movie is excellent across the board. This is the first film that I've seen Damson Idris in and Kerry Condon, and both of them did a great job. I want to see both of them in more movies. I was very, very impressed by their performances. Brad Pitt does an excellent job as per usual. I really have a huge appreciation for him, and I think that he elevates every film that he is a part of. I've yet to see a movie, like a performance of his, that I was not impressed by. And then the score. Hans Zimmer always does an excellent job with the score, but the score has been stuck in my head on loop for a month since I watched this film. It hits so well. It works so well for this film. I really love the synth and the electronic music that he chose to go with for F1. It's exhilarating, it's fun, it's so good. They really, really found an emotional story for this movie. They packaged it in a nice, tidy F1 package, and the audience is eating it up. The audience is really liking this film. And that's good for Apple Studios because they have been way up and down with their original films, and this is a win that they really, really needed. So far, it's been getting relatively standard fare from the critics. The audience is really liking it, and I think that is really good. This film is a stunning visual feast. It does not disappoint. It has good editing, good cinematography, good acting, good directing, a good score, and it is just fun to watch. And I'm not going to lie, I am sat and ready for Joseph Kosinski's next film. It's already been announced that he's got a project in the works with Apple and Bruckheimer. It is an untitled thriller, and you better believe I'm going to be sitting there in the movie theater watching that film on the big screen. And I'm very curious to see which big star he taps to work with in this project. I would definitely rate F1 an 8.5 out of 10. I think this is a movie that's a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out in theaters if you have not seen it yet. And this is a film that I will be buying and I'll be rewatching. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you could hit that like button and subscribe, it would really help me out. Let me know in the comments if you've seen F1, what you thought of this movie, or if you're planning on going to see it, or if you're like, you know what, I'm just going to wait till this comes out on streaming. I'm excited to hear all your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.